88.1 The Berg, your Music Central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our broadcast of Central Washington University versus Alaska Anchorage. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Ryan Gildersleeve, your play-by-play broadcaster for all of tonight's action, alongside Jackson Roberts, as we get ready for what should be a great night of action between your Wildcats and the visiting Seawolves. Ladies and gentlemen, coming into this one, it is quite interesting when you dive into the comparisons between these two squads. The Seawolves, of course, come in, and if you are just looking at the numbers, they've got a slightly better record when you're looking at just overall throughout the whole season. But when you dial it in and you look at how these teams have performed in the GNAC, it's a much different story. Central Washington with about a game-and-a-half lead over the Seawolves. So it's quite interesting as coming into tonight, Central Washington with a chance to further their rankings even better. And at this point in the season, you can't ask for anything more than a win for the Wildcats. Of course, in our last game on Thursday, Jackson, we saw a great performance from the Cats as, of course, both of our squads came back with wins. Now, as we come into this game, unfortunately, the same can't be said for the earlier matchup with the women's squad. But coming into tonight, this men's squad has a whole lot of momentum behind them, and we saw them play great just the other day. So as we do get ready for the beginning of this matchup between the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves and your Central Washington Wildcats, it's bound to be a heavily contested one. Now, Jackson, as we do enter this game, is there anything you can tell me about Alaska Anchorage that should key into how this game plays out?
Well, they have their leading scorer, Tyson Gilbert, at 15 points per game. But what I was looking at in terms of their overall shooting numbers, the whole team shoots at a 43% clip, while the Wildcats shoot at about 46. So I don't know if that's us taking better shots, just more time going into it, drawing up plays, or just finding the better shot. So I think that's what we need to do. We saw defense played very well the other night against Fairbanks, and so hopefully we can carry that over tonight against Anchorage.
And you know, not only was the defense so good, but just controlling the boards. It was an easy thing to see. The Wildcats did a great job going out there, crashing the glass, and bringing in every rebound that they possibly could. Now, as we await this matchup between ourselves and the Seawolves, one thing that we've seen pretty consistently over our last few matchups has been a distinct size difference. Central Washington, of course, has two basketball teams with a bit shorter average heights than the rest of the GNAC, but as of right now, if you're looking at these two squads, you're not going to see a big height difference. Now, of course, the Wildcats are very diverse in terms of how they can roll out different lineups. You can get a full lineup of 5 guards that are still going to be playing you with all the defensive intensity of a lineup that had 5 post players. But at the same point, the Wildcats are just so versatile on the offensive end of the court that it's difficult for any opposing team to come into this arena specifically and shut them down. Folks, another thing that goes unspoken far too often about Central Washington's Nicholson Arena is just how impactful the free throw game can be. Now, as you look at the splits between opposing teams coming into the Nicholson Arena versus how we shoot at home, there is one thing that is blatantly obvious, and it is that this arena does a great job of getting into the heads of opposing players. Folks, it's nearly a 10% difference in how opposing teams shoot against the Wildcats, whether they are home or away. The Nicholson Arena does its job in keeping these teams from making it at the free throw line. Whether it be the CWU band on one end that is in your face, doing everything they can to get you distracted from what you're doing there at the charity stripe, or on the other end where you've just got noise coming at you from every angle. Folks, this is an arena that will not let you have an open look without some sort of defense coming from some sort of source. Folks, we're about 15 seconds away from them starting to introduce all of our players here in the Nicholson Arena, as previously mentioned. And with that being the case, folks, we're going to go ahead and send it away. And when we come back, we will have the beginning of this matchup between your Central Washington Wildcats and the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. Folks, we'll be back in about 30 seconds to a minute here on 88.1 The Berg and the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
88.
88 the Berg, your Music Central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. Ryan Gildersleeve and Jackson Roberts here for 88 the Berg as we come in to this matchup between your Central Washington Wildcats and the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. Folks, as we make our stand here at half court, it'll be Maverick Sanders doing the tip-off here for your Wildcats. And we're going to bring it home, folks. This match is underway, and your Wildcats bring home the tip-off. With the ball in hand, Cameron McNeil, he moves it out left to Bradley Swilly, and Swilly now over to Maverick Sanders. Still on the left side, he shoots it over to Samad Hector here at the top of the key. Here still maneuvering the perimeter. He hands it off to Cameron McNeil, loses it for a second, but retains his possession. Taking a step back, now driving in. He's going to send this one out for Swilly, three-pointer. Unable to start the game off hot. That one's going to be rebounded by the Seawolves, and here they come. With the ball in his hand is going to be the Seawolves' Dylan Barrientos. And now moving it around the perimeter is Alaska Anchorage. Here's Barrientos with the ball in his hands once more. Moving out right now against Jordan Clark. He shoots it over. And now a three-pointer taken from deep. This one is going to be up and off.
That one was Dathan Satchel.
And now the Cats moving it around the perimeter. Here's Cameron McNeil on the drive. Unable to get this one to go. And it's going to be rebounded by Alaska Anchorage. Here's Barrientos with the ball in his hand. Moving it in on the left side. At the top of the key now, he moves it out to the right. Three-pointer once again attempted, and this one will not go. Rebound goes to Cameron McNeil. That one missed, that time by Sawyer Storms. What a name. As here are the Wildcats. Maverick Sanders to Swilly. Swilly over to Clark. Clark now back to Swilly. He's got Cameron McNeil over on the left side. To his right is Sanders. To his left is Hector. He's going to pick Hector. Hector now driving, putting up the shot, unable to get it to go. Still no scoring through the first minute and a half of this matchup. Barrientos with the ball in his hand. Moving out left now. He'll be matched up against Swilly. Takes the step back. Here's the three ball. Unable to get it to go. Rebound to Samad Hector, the GNAC's leading rebounder. And the Central Washington Wildcats leading rebounder as well, of course. Now he drives, going in for the post score, and he gets it. Samad Hector puts the first two on the board.
Yep, that's the second leading scorer for your Wildcats.
And that's exactly what you want to see, as now Barrientos will bring it back for the Seawolves. Matched up against Clark. He moves it out left. Shooting this one over. And now they come up and around. Mid-range shot taken. This one is going to be up and off. Missed by Satchel.
Not one has gone in for the Seawolves.
No, it hasn't. As Cameron McNeil moving in. We talked about the defense from the game on Thursday. Seems to be moving into this matchup. As now Cameron McNeil has a whole lot to deal with here. Unless they're going to drop back off of it. So it'll be 3v3 here on the outside as Swilly was the defender. He's going to move over as they pass it around a couple of times. This one intended for the post area, more specifically intended for Sawyer Storms, but it will find its way out of bounds, and the Wildcats take possession.
Yeah, Lyman Simmons put a bit too much mustard on that one, just tossed it way out of bounds.
2.5 into this first half of action, and Central Washington yet to allow a point. Jordan Clark brings it up for the Cats. And we'll see how he attacks Barrientos here. Moving out right, now he's going to take the switch back. Moving out left, open opportunity, won't take it. Instead kicks out to Sanders. Sanders to McNeil. McNeil going up and over everybody to Hector, who is going to toss it off of a player, trying to get it out of bounds, but they're going to save it. And it'll be Barrientos passing up to start the fast break. Now kicking it back out. They've got the long opportunity. Foul's going to be called on Cameron McNeil. A little bit of contact there as the perimeter try was attempted.
So that's going to result in 3 free throws, and it's going to be Dathan Satchel, the one shooting those 3.
Satchel, up into this point in the season, has been quite the piece for Alaska Anchorage up into this point. Shooting about 81% from the line, and he's going to hit this first one.
Yeah, the Wildcats fans are trying to do their work right now. They're not quite on the side of the band, so second half free throws may be a little bit different.
And we know that to be true. Second free throw will fall. One more for him and a chance to take the lead early.
Yeah, as you said, the Wildcat defense is definitely carried over into this game as their only points on the board so far are free throws. We're forcing them into low percentage shots so far.
And the third try will be good. So he makes all 3 free throws, bringing that 81 up even higher. As here's Jordan Clark moving in. He's going to give it to Samad Hector. Hector now has a moving Bradley Swilly to hand it to. Over to Cameron McNeil, and there's 2 inside.
Effortless pass right there. That was beautiful.
And now on the other end, a quick try from Anchorage. They're going to get it to go.
Dathan Satchel with the 3-point bucket there.
And now here's Clark giving it to Hector. They're going to let Samad Hector control the offense to start it off here. Moving to the left side. He's going to lose the ball. And bringing it up one more time is Satchel coming in on the right side. He's going to kick this one back to Barrientos. And now moving it around a couple more times. Now in the hands of the leading scorer, Gilbert. He shoots it out to the right. Still maneuvering the perimeter. Here's Barrientos. Takes the step back, kicking it out left. One more time, they go that way. Here's Satchel against McNeil. Now moving it to the right, top of the key. They're going to move it over to Gilbert. Now the top scorer with the ball in his hands. He kicks it out left. One more time, here's Barrientos. 4 seconds to make something happen. Maverick Sanders, the defender, he jumps too early, and the three is off. Rebound for Samad Hector. The Wildcats continue to do what they need. Now here's Cameron McNeil bringing it up. He surveys from the perimeter. He hands off to Clark. Clark now driving. Has an open lane. Unable to get the shot to go, and no foul is called at the rim. Barrientos bringing it back for the Seawolves. Takes the switch back. Wants the shot. Loses it for a second. And now back out for him. He's got the open three. He'll miss it, though. And the rebound will go to Bradley Swilly. Now it's Jordan Clark with it. He's got Maverick Sanders on his right. He didn't end up using him, and the ball will be moved around a couple of times before finding itself in the hands of Cameron McNeil. McNeil now moving himself in, shooting it to the corner with Clark. Clark, Swilly to Hector for three. Got it! Samad Hector knocks the three down, cuts the lead to 1.
Brought up that 33% three-point percentage so far. 1 for 1 on the night.
And excuse me, he doesn't cut the lead to 1. He gives them a lead of 1. The Wildcats lead it now. As here, bringing it up is Satchel. He's going to get the layup to go.
Very soft touch off the top of the glass right there.
Samad was about a half an inch from sending that one back. As now it's moved around a couple of times. Hector is going to send it out left. It'll move that way one more time to where Maverick Sanders will have it. Whistles are going to blow as he goes on the drive, and a timeout is called, so we'll take one too. Be back in just about a minute here on 88.1 The Berg, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. .88 The Berg, your music central. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Ryan Gildersleeve, Jackson Roberts here for 88.1 The Berg and your Central Washington University Athletics live stream. Folks, we are here as we watch tonight's action between Central Washington and the University of Alaska Anchorage. Folks, Anchorage tonight has been putting up a good stand against the Wildcats throughout this first 5 minutes and about 20 seconds of action. Now we'll see what they're able to do as they bring it across half court once more. And it's going to be a quick steal by Jordan Clark. Clark to Sanders, throws it down! Maverick Sanders lights the place up. Now on the other end, here are the Seawolves moving things around, trying to respond after the crowd pleaser. On the outside, trying to find an open look. He moves out left to the top of the key, making the pass now. And it's number 1, ball in his hands, trying to find the man on the move. It's Satchel, but the steal goes to the Cats. And it's Jello Lloyd with the ball in hand. Moving himself up on the right side. Now going to the top of the key, taking the three. Unable to get it to go. This one off the front of the iron, rebounded by the Seawolves. And now kicking it out to the left. He moves towards the top of the key. Calling for some sort of movement here as they're moving it to the right side. Now heading back, top of the key, the pass goes. The big man now getting this one over once more. A lot of movement here for the Seawolves. Driving into the paint, and there was an open opportunity. Now there's one from the three-point arc, but they're unable to connect. 9-8, still your score. 13:30 on the clock. Jello Lloyd with the ball on the perimeter for three. Gets it! Jello Lloyd, that's your leading scorer.
Don't let him get hot. He'll start cooking.
And now on the other end, here are the Seawolves, ball in hand, trying to mount some sort of a response to these last couple of scoring plays. Now on the post, they look for the opportunity and they'll get it. That one from the low post. And that was a good opportunity for Lempberg. As now here's Clark with it. He's going to go on the drive, putting up the shot, and he's fouled. So in the act of shooting, he's going to get a couple of opportunities from the charity stripe. 13 minutes remain in this first half of action.
It looks like Barrientos is going to check back in. That is the third leading scorer for the Seawolves, and it seems like the primary ball handler from what we have seen tonight.
And not only that, but Gilbert will come back into the game as well, being the number one scorer for this squad. And so as he does retake the court, it's something to keep in mind. A couple of substitutions for the Wildcats too, as coming into the game is going to be for just a second, is coming out of the game is going to be Maverick Sanders, as well as Bradley Swilly. Coming into the game is going to be, as quickly, Jello Lloyd is going to receive the inbound and lose it out of bounds, but it will be Colby Jeanette joining the game. As
this also looks like Kevin Holden has entered the floor as well.
And so now the inbound will be Jordan Clark sending it in as he throws it up for Jeanette. Colby Jeanette hands this one off back to Clark. Now we'll see how he wants to attack here. He's got Barrientos on defense. He hands it off to Jello Lloyd. Lloyd now over, and we'll see what he's able to do. Moves this one over. Holden to Clark. Clark on the drive. Putting up the shot. Gets it to go. Wow.
Beautiful
really
righty reverse.
doing a great job of cutting his way into the paint and getting a good look. Now Barrientos with the ball in his hand on the other end for the Seawolves, and the reach-in foul is going to be properly called against Jordan Clark. From our angle here, you could plainly see the arm come across the body.
Yeah, too much contact there. Trying to get that steal, and Jordan Clark already has two plays where he has forced a turnover, so I'm not upset with him trying to be too aggressive.
Now Barrientos with the ball in his hands on the right side is going to shoot this one over, and it's going to be Gilbert, ball in hand, sends this one back out left. Now Barrientos again. From the top of the key now, looking for some opportunity. He's going to find it, and that's just a great job of distributing the basketball.
Yeah, they were smothered until the last moment. Wildcat defense just was frozen.
Now Clark gets this one over to Brizzy. Mitch Brizzy now back to Jordan Clark. He's got Jeanette out right, Brizzy out left, uses the screen from Brizzy. Now he's got the open three, and he can't connect. Jeanette, though, is going to toss his hand against it. It'll end up, though, in the hands of Barrientos. Barrientos to Gilbert. And the fast break three-point opportunity is off. And a loose ball foul is going to be called against Alaska Anchorage, more specifically Hassan Harrington, picking up his first foul of the game, the second of the half against Alaska Anchorage, and a timeout on the court, so we'll take one too. We'll be back in about a minute here on 88.1 The Berg, your Music Central, and the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. .88 The Berg, your Music Central. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to tonight's action, folks. I've got one thing to say and one thing to say only. Tonight has been a wonderful night of action between Central Washington and the University of Alaska Anchorage so far in this matchup between our men's rosters here.
We're seeing a full court press from the Seawolves. It's pretty light full court press, but it was there nonetheless.
Breaking it out early, too. Not something you typically see as Jello Lloyd loses his defender. Three-point try. Unable to get it to go. Rebound goes to the Seawolves, and that was just quite the opportunity for him. A nearly wide open look.
Jello's a space creator.
As now, here are the Seawolves moving the ball around. Here's a three-point try for themselves, and they'll bury it.
That was Jaron Williams for the Seawolves.
And wow, what a shot it was. You could hear everybody reacting to that one. As now on the other end, the Wildcats are going to get the second chance opportunity to go on a Mitch Brizzi score. Now it's Barrientos with the ball in his hand, working against Jello Lloyd for the Seawolves. He's going to shoot it out right. And now once again, here's Gilbert shooting the three, and he's going to bury that in the face.
He is a 38% three-point shooter, so that is no surprise there.
Wow, what a shot. And he's the leading scorer on this squad for a reason, as Brizzi with the ball in his hand. Now Brizzi moving his way inside. He's going to be fouled, or so it appears. And it will go against the Seawolves.
It was on Barrientos, his first of the game.
So we'll see how they're able to continue to affect the foul game in this one. That's going to push the advantage to the Wildcats. 3 fouls for the Seawolves, 2 to the Wildcats. As here's Jeanette with the ball. He's got Jello Lloyd, who he received it from. Now driving in, going to get the post score easily. Colby Jeanette, typically more of an outside threat. This time he's going to choose to get a couple on the inside. As here's Barrientos moving out right with it. He's going to send it back. Now here's the handoff to Gilbert. Gilbert on the perimeter again. He goes for it, and again he gets it.
Yeah, he's averaging 15 points per game. You just got to keep a hand up in his face at all time. Even there, it just didn't help, though.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. As here's Seth Dawson driving for the Cats. He gets an easy 2.
Lefty there.
That's what you like to see. As here's Barrientos bringing it back off of the Wildcat answer. Barrientos misses off the back iron. And now Kevin Holden bringing it up for the Cats. Fast break opportunity. He drives and shoots it out to the perimeter. After a couple of passes, it'll end up with Jello Lloyd. Jello Lloyd has been a great perimeter shooter. He's going to shoot to the corner with Seth Dawson, and he's going to be called out of bounds on that one.
Yeah, just threw it a little bit too far for Dawson, and Dawson landed out of bounds.
Not what you wanted to see, but a timeout called on the court, so we'll take one too. Be back in about 30 seconds here on 88.1 The Berg and the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
Oh my gosh.
88.1 The Berg, your music central. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Ryan Gildersleeve and Jackson Roberts here for 88.1 The Berg as we get ready to jump into the final 9:35 of this first half of action. Folks, what a matchup it's been so far. What a matchup it is bound to be. 20-21 your score with the Wildcats trailing by 1. And here's Barrientos. He's going to be the receiver of the inbound as the Seawolves look to put some more on the board here. Pass is going to go out right. It'll go out that way one more time. A post look, but it's going to go back to the perimeter. He's going to cut himself in, look for the mid-range try. Out to Gilbert now. Here's their leading scorer. Sends it back out to the perimeter. Looking for the wide open opportunity here. And it's going to be handed off. Gilbert now working against Colby Jeanette. Driving his way in. Puts up the mid-range. Open shot, and he's off. Rebound goes to Samad Hector, the GNAC's leading rebounder. Now Seth Dawson with it. He's going to drive in, get it to Jeanette, gets it to go!
Jeanette floated in the air for a little bit there, able to get the layup right off the glass.
And that's going to give the Wildcats the lead in a matchup where it has flip-flopped so many times. Here's Barrientos with the ball. He's going to shoot it out right. One more time, it goes that direction. Looking for the post opportunity. The block goes to Samad!
He just little kid him right there.
And now Jello Lloyd bringing it across half court. Showing off the ball handling here. He takes the step back. To his right, he's got Swilly. He's going to choose him. Now Swilly into Samad Hector. We haven't seen a lot from him here tonight. Only 5 points. He drives, gets the shot opportunity up, but he is unable to connect. Now bringing it back to the Seawolves. Looking for the post opportunity. And it's going to be an and one opportunity from the line for the Seawolves.
Sawyer Storms with the and one layup there.
And they're going to send the foul against Jello Lloyd, so he picks up his first of the game. Third of the half for the Cats.
76% free throw shooter here, so they have an opportunity to take a 2-point lead.
And wow. And so we'll see what Storms can do. One thing that I have noticed, Jackson, a lot of this offense from the Seawolves has been played through him. And a player for the Seawolves just was seen running back to the locker room. That was number 21, Trey Evans, so not sure what's going on there, but as he has a less than 2 point per game score, I'm not too concerned about it. Jello Lloyd Seth Dawson with the ball in hand, bringing it up across half court now. He's going to send this one over to Jello Lloyd. Now back to him, and here's Dawson on the drive. He leads this Wildcat team in opportunities at the free throw line, and you see why right there. Not afraid of contact. He drives straight into the post to get these shots.
They're going to call it on the floor.
Wow. And what is that?
Yeah.
Give him my whole monologue as Jello Lloyd is going to miss this shot, and all for what? As now here the Seawolves once again driving, takes a step back, and they kick to the outside. Here's the three-point try, and they get it to go.
Dathan Satchel, once again, he's already hit a 3 tonight. That's another one.
Now here's Seth Dawson with it. He's going to kick over to Samad Hector. Hector now over, and here's the three from Swilly. It is up and off. Rebound goes to Barrientos. And now he'll bring it up down the left side lane. Driving against Dawson. He stops for a second, sends it out to the perimeter. Here's the try again. And on back-to-back plays, they attempt it. They're unable to get the same result this time. Here's Jello Lloyd moving out right with it, and he's going to be fouled. They'll call it the blocking foul, and that was a lucky call.
Jello's hit the deck a couple times tonight. Probably could have gotten a couple calls to send him to the free throw line. This time, just a blocking call sends him to the floor.
Glad to see that he was able to pull it in. That's the 5th against the Seawolves this half. So 2 more, they'll find themselves quite into a bit of trouble. Folks, we're going to be back in just a moment here on 88.1 The Berg and the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
88.1 The Berg would like to thank all.
I know that dude. That's the MVP. Sweeping up the floor.
Yeah, man. He's putting in work, I'll tell you what.
Those guys took off their shirts. It's not blackout.
Absolutely not.
It's far from it.
Damn phone is dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't get clips, which sucks because there were some good ones in that first little bit.
Is that? Oh, that's not even your phone.
It's not. I could put my phone on there if I really wanted to, though. 88.1 The Berg, your music central. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Ryan Gildersleeve here alongside Jackson Roberts as we detail the events of this matchup between your Central Washington Wildcats and the University of Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. Folks, the current score, 22-27 as we rejoin the action. On the floor for your Wildcats, Seth Dawson, Jordan Clark, Maverick Sanders, Cameron McNeil, and Samad Hector. As Hector comes in to set the screen, it's going to be Seth Dawson using it and getting 2. Cuts the lead to 3.
Seth Dawson with another easy layup there.
Now here's Barrientos bringing it up, and he's matched up with Seth Dawson. Coming out right, he's going to send it back to Storms. Storms now handing off to Satchel. Satchel now out right with it. At the top of the key, they send it to Barrientos. Barrientos scrolling out left. He's going to give it back to Storms. Storms now to a player that hasn't checked in yet. And now they keep moving it around the perimeter. Looking for an open shot from 3. That's what the Seawolves have done a lot of tonight. Here's the opportunity from inside, and they'll miss it. Maverick Sanders pulls it down. Cameron McNeil now bringing it up and across that big old midcourt logo of the Central Washington Wildcats. Maverick Sanders has the ball poked out, but they will retain possession as he does not touch it again before it finds its way out of bounds.
Maverick Sanders, of course, had his 24-point performance the other night against Alaska Fairbanks. So we'll see if he can pick it up here. Right now, he only has 2 points.
And this is the final leg of the Alaska Frontier teams that come down to play as Cameron McNeil, otherwise dubbed Mid-Range McNeil, is unable to hit from the mid-range there. Here's Barrientos as he moves it out left. And now from the perimeter, they're going to hand it off. Now moving out right. Here's Satchel with it. Matched up with Maverick Sanders. He goes out right again. And they're going to continue to move it around. Barrientos out left with it. And now driving against Maverick Sanders, getting the layup up, and there was no chance at contesting that one. Pushes it back out to a 5-point separation. 24-29 your score. And here comes Seth Dawson up the left side lane. He's going to toss this one up and over to Samad Hector. Hector now back to Dawson. Dawson with a lot of movement happening in front of him. He's going to hit the dribble move and send it back out for Jordan Clark. Clark now coming in, and a foul is going to be called. It's going to be a blocking foul, it appears.
And I think they're going to call it on Barrientos, so it's going to be his second of the game.
And so that's what you want to see if you're the Wildcats. Take out an impact player, or at least start to get the punishment against him ramped up. 6 fouls against the Seawolves in this half, so with the 5 minutes and 50 seconds we have remaining, if one more foul occurs, then free shots are going to be put up by the Cats. As here's Seth Dawson, he's going to move out right with it. Thought he had the screen from Sanders, he didn't, so he's going to give this one to Samad Hector. Hector now on the drive, going through Storms. Storms is going to fall, and they'll call it a charge. Just a little too aggressive on that one.
Yep, did lead with his shoulder a little bit. I couldn't quite see if the feet were set by the defender, but Hector for sure led with the shoulder there.
Yeah, he wears the number 24 in his back. Sometimes he can't tell himself from beast mode, and right there he shows it. This one moved out right to Storms. Storms on the perimeter. He's going to look for Gilbert, the leading scorer. He finds him. Back to Storms, and they're playing hot potato here. Gilbert now shoots this one out left. He's got Satchel moving in. He's going to hand it to him. Satchel for 3. Dagger is up and off. Rebound goes to Seth Dawson, and the Wildcats, if they can continue forcing these empty possessions, are in a good spot. Here's Seth Dawson taking a step back. Some separation on the perimeter. Tosses it up and over for Samad Hector, and they're going to call the jump ball here. Wildcats will retain possession once again.
I've loved our switch defense as so far in this game, and it's not going to be Wildcats possession.
Wow, and that is quite the decision to make. Though, with the jump ball rules being the way that they are, that's how it's going to have to be, as Kevin Holden checks into the game in the place of Seth Dawson. Now moving out left with it. They still haven't brought it across half court, though they finally do. And now we'll see how they want to attack as he moves out left with it. Moving it around, and now it's to 11, number 11, Gilbert. That's the leading scorer, and he's going to shoot it. It'll find its way to the ground before it hits a rim. Kevin Holden brings it up.
Fans will let him hear it too.
And now Kevin Holden from the perimeter driving in, getting the layup up, but the foul he pulls, that's going to put the Cats in the bonus. And that's exactly what you needed, was a guard going in and drawing contact, pulling the foul, putting himself in a good situation.
And that's their leading scorer tonight, his second foul now. So if we can keep attacking the same guys that are leading their team in scoring and just getting the foul out, that'd be a good goal to try to strive towards.
That it would, as now Kevin Holden has a chance to cut the lead down to 3. Of course, we know what he's been able to do from the charity stripe, though the first shot is not going to necessarily fit the same pattern.
Yep, as you said, he's just under a 70% free throw shooter, so he's been pretty solid from the line this season.
And he will hit the second free throw, so 1 of 2 from the line there, and it's 25-29 your score. 4.5 remaining here in the first half of action between these two squads. And here's Gilbert with it. He moves it out left, and it's Jaron Williams with it. Williams now moving this one out left, and it's back to him. Williams getting the screen from Storms. He's going to use it, drive forward, mid-range shot, and he uses that perfectly.
Yep, right at the left elbow there.
He accepts no pressure from Maverick Sanders directly to his right. Confident in shooting that one, as now Maverick Sanders has the ball for the Cats. Moving into the right side, he's going to send it back up to the top of the key with McNeil. McNeil now using the screen from Hector, moving out left, but good switch defense by Alaska Anchorage. And now here's McNeil. He's in a bit of trouble. He bails out to Sanders. Sanders now over to Clark. 8 seconds to make something happen. He's going to go up, pull some contact, and the foul is going to be called against Central Washington.
Yeah, I thought his feet might have been in the key there, but apparently not, just outside of that area, and so it's going to be a charge and a timeout.
And as they take a timeout, we'll take one too. Be back in just a moment here on 88.1 The Berg, your Music Central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
88.1 The Berg.
88.1 The Berg, your music central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. Folks, welcome back to the action. Central Washington versus the University of Alaska Anchorage. 25-31 your score as the Wildcats trail it by 6 currently. Coming out of the break, it will be the Seawolves with possession of the basketball, and we'll see how they choose to attack the Cats as they bring it across half court. In the hands of Jaron Williams, he takes the screen from Storms and shoots this one out left. Now it's Storms once again providing the screen as the drive, and it's Maverick Sanders getting a hand on that one. And there's going to be a call which sends possession to the Wildcats' favor, though I'm not sure what it was.
I think Sawyer Storm got a loose ball foul, pushed him in the back trying to get the rebound.
And that's what you want to see. Exactly what you want to see as the Central Washington coaches. I'm not sure what their signs mean, but he threw up the John Cena, you can't see me, so we'll see what that ends up being.
I'm intrigued to see this play now.
Yeah, I am too. The attitude adjustment off the rim.
It's not going to be a play as we are in the bonus.
Oh, yeah.
So a
no,
couple
you're
free
right.
throws.
That is absolutely what I forgot. Hey, I couldn't see that coming, and maybe that's what it was coming from.
So Kevin Holden will be back at the line. As we said, he is 68% free throw shooter. Hit 1 for 2 just a moment ago.
Quite efficient on the year he's been so far. We'll see how Kevin Holden can connect on this one. And he gets it. So Kevin Holden doing a good job on that one. 26-31 your score. The Wildcats now trail by 5.
This is a big opportunity for the Wildcats. Any foul that the Seawolves commit is going to end up in 2 free throws.
And he's going to get both. So just like that, Kevin Holden providing some backing to his numbers as well as providing the Wildcats a good opportunity moving forward, as you previously mentioned.
Full court press now from the Wildcats.
And it's nice to see the intensity ramping up here, as here on the drive, they're going to send it back to the perimeter with Gilbert. Gilbert now over to Williams, and Williams going to send it back. Now they move it around a couple of times, and it's Gilbert with the ball in hand. He's going to move out left now with it at the top of the key. He's being guarded by Colby Jeanette. He shoots this one over, and he's going to step out of bounds. An empty possession is going to be charged to the Seawolves, and the Wildcats have a chance to cut the lead down to as little as 1 point.
I said it earlier, this switch defense has been effective for the Wildcats. They have not been staying to one certain man.
And now Seth Dawson will bring it up. Moving out left, he uses the screen from Samad Hector. No foul is called. And now Seth Dawson loses it, so interested as to what happened there. Gilbert will be matched up with Cameron McNeil, and he's going to take a long 3, and he's going to miss a long 3. Rebound to Samad. And Cameron McNeil bringing it up, sending it to Kevin Holden. Holden now on the switch. And what are they going to call?
They're going to call that a charge. I think that was a block. He was basically in air. I don't really know how that's a charge, but refs think otherwise, and that's why they're the one in the stripes.
So just like that, it's the 6th foul of the half against the Cats. So in the next 2:40, they need to keep their hands to themselves, as anything more is going to send the opposition to the charity stripe.
Full court press back once again. Now it's kind of off.
That it is, as they bring it up. Here's LaFerbe. Moving out right now with it. He uses the screen from Storms, sends this one over, and it's back. Storms once again providing the screen. And here they come, taking a step back. Jaron Williams shooting it over to Gilbert. Gilbert on the outside, using the screen from Williams. Takes the step back. Samad Hector trying for the defense, and the shot will not land. Now on the inside, second chance opportunity will go.
Hassan Harrington just able to box out the Wildcat defense there and get the second chance opportunity, like you said.
27-33 your score. Samad Hector, ball in hand, moving out right with it, driving in and taking advantage of the defense.
With some contact too, he's bigger than anyone else on this court.
And he's limping coming off of that play. You can see the teeth are gritted, but he's still going to get the rebound. And he seems to be moving just fine, though a little bit behind his teammates, I will say. Now he's going to drive in, maybe sandbagging the opponent, as he's going to receive it with, and a foul is going to be called. It will be against the Seawolves.
Yep, Caleb Larson kind of had a hand wrapped around Samad Hector there.
And so that is exactly what you wanted to see if you are Central Washington, being sent to the line one more time. And of course, with the score sitting at 29-33, the Wildcats will have an opportunity to cut it down to only 2.
Samad Hector with an opportunity to get points 8 and 9 on the night for himself as well.
$139 will remain in the game when it is all said and done. And chanting this one, here's Samad Hector, and he can't hit from the line. That's a rare miss from him. As now on the outside, it's Jaron Williams. He's going to give this one over to Gilbert. Gilbert now coming around. He's got good defense from Jeanette. This one's going to be up and over. And they move with it once again. Here's Gilbert moving himself on the outside. Now to Williams. Williams now to Lefebvre for three. Gets it. Wow, what a shot.
Yeah, that was just completely contested. Luckily that there was not and one called there. He looked like he almost landed his landing area.
As now Samad will once again start off the drive for the Wildcats. He's going to move his way inside. Now to Jeanette. Like we said, a good three-point shooter. He answers back immediately with a three of his own. 32-38.
Jeanette with his first points of the game, I believe.
And with that, it's going to be a timeout called. Folks, just like that, your Wildcats down 32-36. Only 4 points separate these squads. And we'll be back in just a moment here on 88.1 The Berg.
88.1 The Berg would like.
.88 The Berg, your music central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. No matter where you're listening, we thank you for tuning into our broadcast here tonight. I am your play-by-play broadcaster, Ryan Gildersleeve, alongside color commentator Jackson Roberts, as we try our best to take you through the steps of what we've seen throughout this first half of action. Only 50 seconds remain in that period, and the Wildcats need to do what they can to put together a drive, and it'll be Lefebvre trying to keep them from doing so for the Seawolves. He will be the primary ball handler here to kick off the drive. Now he's coming up and around the corner and giving it right over. That's exactly what they wanted. They pulled all of the defense to the 1 point. And what is this? Now a call. They're looking to enforce, which would take the ball away from the Wildcats. An interesting decision to say the least here. And it will be the Seawolves taking possession.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there, and Wildcat coach is obviously not happy.
And they're going to toss it up and over to Lefebvre. And they're going to have about 6 seconds separating the shot and game clock here, though there will be a shot clock. And Lefebvre will work against a series of much larger competition. More specifically, he's got Seth Dawson on him right now. 10 seconds remain on the shot clock. We'll see how the Wildcats can shut down this attempt at some quick scoring. And now they're going to give it over. Here's the three-point try, and they miss. So it's rebounded by Kevin Holden. 6 seconds on the clock. Tossed up for Sanders. Sanders over. Jeanette, three to end it. Gets it! Jeanette hits the three! 35-38. Heading into halftime, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back on 88.1 The Berg.
88.1 The Berg would like to thank
88-1 the Berg, your Music Central. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Gildersleeve alongside Jackson Roberts as we detail what we saw in the first half of this matchup between your Central Washington Wildcats and the opposing Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. Folks, what a matchup it's been so far. 35-38 your score. We were in desperately close fashion to having this be 32-38 coming into this point. But folks, a huge three-pointer knocked down by Colby Jeanette to end the first half puts the Wildcats in a great spot to come out of halftime, really just firing on all cylinders. I mean, that last little bit has been so competitive, and really the whole game could use that same title. We've seen incredible matchups on the inside, on the outside, a lot of blocks from the Wildcats, which you love to see. That interior defense is so important. And of course, 35-38 being your score, you're within punching distance. One drive coming off of halftime, and you could have a tie. Now, I'm not saying that that's entirely too possible, but what I will say is this is a Wildcat team that loves to come out firing, and if they have a play that's drawn up that they can feel confident in, you best believe they're going to take any opportunity they can get coming out of halftime to immediately put one in the, or at least, I don't even know. At least they're going to come out of halftime. They're going to be firing. That's all I've got to say. Jackson, what are you thinking heading into the second half?
You're completely right. I mean, last game against Fairbanks, we came out of halftime just shooting on all cylinders.
Right.
Just, everything was working, and I think our defense still playing the way that it played the first half would be fine. We just need our offense to get going a bit more because it seems like all their points are coming from, talking about Alaska Anchorage, is just contested threes or second chance opportunities. So I think we need to start boxing out, maybe stepping up as much as we can on the threes. It's been Tyson Gilbert, their leading scorer, who's been having just all these crazy three-point shots, as well as number 20, Nathan Satchel has also hit a couple threes tonight. So just guarding up on the perimeter, letting them have whatever they can get inside, because we've seen that we have Samad Hector, Mitch Brizzy, guys who can meet people at the rim and disrupt those shots.
Exactly, and we've seen all kinds of help defense from all different angles here tonight, and really I do think that it's been one of the Wildcats' biggest strengths up until this point, but I agree, if we can shut down the perimeter and take away any opportunity to score from beyond the arc for the Seawolves, then really I don't see any way that they're going to be able to come and really mount too big of a scoring drive against the Wildcats. With that being said, honestly, as long as we can force them to the post, it should be a good game. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just about 3.5 minutes from rejoining the action here from the Nicholson Arena, as both of these two teams are on the court, currently looking to get themselves ready for this second half of action. Folks, we're going to do the same and be back in just about 3 minutes here on 88.1 The Berg, your Music Central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. Folks, as previously mentioned, we will be back in just one moment. 88 the Berg, your music central. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we get ready to join the action. 20 minutes have been loaded back on the clock for the second half between your Central Washington Wildcats and the visiting Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Gildersleeve and Jackson Roberts here to give you the details for the second half of action here tonight, as quickly the Wildcats are going to have the ball poked out here. Of course, both teams have switched sides of the court, as here's Jordan Clark driving his way into the post for a quick and one opportunity. Jordan Clark comes out of halftime and now has a chance to tie the ball game. Folks, we just got done talking at halftime about what the Wildcats need to do to make this a great way to come out of halftime. They drew up the play and it worked to perfection. Jordan Clark gets himself to the line, and now with an opportunity at the charity stripe, Jordan Clark can tie it up.
I saw Jordan Clark in the huddle too, very animated, talking to the rest of his Wildcat teammates. Good to see him come out this half fast.
And he's going to miss it. So he's unable to convert, though the first 2 points are still there. So a 1 point separation between these squads. And bringing it across half court is going to be Barrientos. And he's going to send this one over. And it's going to be back to Barrientos. Moving out right now. He's got an open opportunity on the three-point line. He's not going to use it. Instead, he's going to drive, and he's going to get it to go against Samad Hector. So tough post defense, but he still gets it to push past him.
Hector was just a step behind there.
And here's Jordan Clark. He's going to hand this one off to Cameron McNeil. McNeil now moving it over to Samad Hector, and Hector to Bradley Swilly. Swilly takes the step out right, driving, taking the shot, and he's unable to get it to connect. Rebound goes to the Seawolves, and here they come. In the hands now of Barrientos. He has been the primary ball handler all game. He's matched up against Bradley Swilly. Moving out left now is Barrientos, and he's going to kick it out right. Hand it off. Excuse me, the handoff looked like it was going to Gilbert. Instead, it's going to be picked off. This one's intercepted here by Jordan Clark. Clark to Samad. Samad unable to get it to go, but he does get an opportunity at the line, which can cut the lead once again down to 1 point.
Jordan Clark looks like he's playing at a different pace than everyone on the court right now, coming out of this half.
And you know, it's been up until this point that Jordan Clark has really been thrust into the position of #1 point guard on this team, as of course Samad Hector gets ready to shoot his free throws.
73% on the season.
First one will fall.
Nothing but net right there.
And going back to Jordan Clark, one big thing to keep in mind is, of course, coming into this year, the Central Washington Wildcats dealing with the departure of former point guard and assist maestro Brock Gilbert. Of course, last year he really did a great job constructing the offense for the Wildcats. Now, Samad Hector, a chance to cut the lead down to 1, and he's going to get it. So there's Samad doing what he needs to do, being responsible and accountable. Not only that, but consistent from the free throw line. He's got 11 here tonight so far. Wildcats trail it by 1, and the ball is in the hand of Williams. Williams moving out left now. He's going to hand it off. Maverick Sanders guarding the defender as it's shot out right. Now it's looked like it was going to Barrientos. It's not going to. Instead, it's going to find itself back to Jaron Williams. Williams now to Gilbert. Gilbert, the leading scorer of this Seawolves team. He leads the team in scoring so far. Here's the three-pointer by Barrientos. It is up and off. Rebound is going to go to the Seawolves, though, and the Wildcats are going to need to limit those offensive rebounds and second-chance opportunities going hand in hand if they want the second half to work out in their favor. Here's Samad Hector. He's going to send it over to Maverick Sanders. Sanders now cutting inside, but kicking it back out to Hector. Hector now over to Clark. Clark takes the step in, shoots it over to Swilly. Swilly now to McNeil. Looks like they're nearing something. Here's McNeil driving himself in, sending it to Hector. Gets it to go and gets the and one opportunity. Samad Hector, a chance to tie the game.
And he's hype after that.
That's what you want to see. Once again, Samad Hector, who hit on both of his previous free throw tries, is going to get a shot from the charity stripe, working through the tough defense that was set by Sawyer Storms, the big post piece that we've seen for Alaska Anchorage so far. He checks out of this game now, so Samad Hector going to get a chance to shoot, and he's going to tie it up. That's what you want to see. Samad Hector converting from the charity stripe, and this is a 0-0 ball game. 17:45 remaining in the second half of action. Here's Williams on the right side, guarded by Sanders. He kicks it out left. Top of the key, they move it back over to Gilbert. Gilbert, long three-point try. No, he kicks out, and they get the easy opportunity in the post.
That was a good decision by him right there. Just had the big man right there.
Great dish into Lantford. And now Jordan Clark looks to answer back with the Wildcats as he gives it to Hector. Hector to Swilly, and that's an easy 2 down low.
The Wildcat offense looks really good coming out of this half.
That's exactly what you want as Barrientos now scrolling out right against Sanders, kicking it back out left, and they give it to Gilbert. Same opportunity as last time. Last time, of course, he attempted the shot and kicked out of it. This time he won't. And it's Samad Hector getting it out of bounds, forcing the turnover. Wildcat basketball.
He is everywhere. Offense, defense, wherever you need him.
Samad Hector, such a great all-around piece for this Wildcat basketball team. Let's see what they can do with a chance to take the lead. Clark handing off to Swilly. Swilly now over to McNeil. McNeil to Sanders. A lot of movement here. Sanders kicks to the top of the key. Now with Samad Hector. Hector looks like he wanted Swilly, won't get him. Instead gets Clark. Setting the screen, here's Clark. Moving it over to Sanders. It's going to be intercepted by Williams. Here's Jaron Williams on the move. He's going to take a step back, and they're not going to go for the fast break. So Williams is going to kick it to the right side corner. Now moving back around, they're going to swap. And it's Maverick Sanders guarding the top of the key. Move back over, and here's Barrientos. On the outside, he's being guarded by Samad Hector now. Moved over, and it's Maverick Sanders with the responsibility. He's going to be pushed around a bit as they move it over to Williams. Williams, Hector, the defense, the shot, can't get it. Rebound goes to Maverick Sanders. And now here's Bradley Swilly bringing it up for the Wildcats. And a foul is going to be called. It's a blocking foul against Alaska Anchorage. Your Wildcats not only retain possession, but put a foul against the opposition. Their 4th of the half, and we're not even 4 minutes in.
This is going to be big for the Wildcats. We saw how important it was for us to get to the line last quarter or last half based off of those just simple fouls that put us in the bonus.
And so now Jordan Clark once again looks to construct something for the Cats. He gives it to Brizzy. Brizzy now over, and it'll be with Swilly. He loses it for a second, but retains possession. Moving out right now, he drives against Barrientos. Moving it over to Brizzy, getting the shot to go! 2 more to the Cats!
What a find. Brizzy was just right there. Easy layup created by Bradley Swilly right there.
And that's exactly what you want to see. Now Barrientos brings it up for the first time as they are down 2 points. Now moving out left. He's going to pass it over, and they drive. Looking for the post score, he kicks it outside. Whistles will blow before the shot, and it appears a foul against the Cats is in line.
Second half Cats.
So this one's going to go against the Wildcats. More specifically, it's Cameron McNeil picking it up. Ladies and gentlemen, timeout called on the court. We'll take 1, 2. Your Wildcats lead it 46-44. We'll be back in just a moment on 88.1 The Berg in the Central Washington Athletics live stream.
Attorneys can help with.
.1 The Berg, your music central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. Ryan Gildersleeve, your play-by-play broadcaster for all of tonight's action, alongside Jackson Roberts, as we detail the events of tonight's action between the Central Washington Wildcats and the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. The Anchorage Seawolves have the ball in hand right now. They trail by 2 points. In a game where they haven't spent a lot of time as the underdogs. This one's going to be lost in the post, but they are going to retain possession, moving it out to Barrientos on the outside. He's marched up against Jordan Clark. Moving out left now, it's Brizzy on the switch. Now Barrientos has an opportunity, and a foul is going to be called. He looks for any chance to get some contact, Drew, and in this case, it's going to be a blocking foul call.
Yeah, Mitch Brizzy stepped up a little bit too much there. Probably didn't need to. Like I said earlier, though, he was worried about the 3, so that was something I was asking for as Angelo Lloyd checks in for Jordan Clark.
And that's a big substitution here, as obviously it's going to change the flow of the game quite a bit for the Wildcats. Jordan Clark definitely leans more towards distributing the basketball than scoring it. You can't say the same for Jello Lloyd, though definitely efficient in what it is that he does. Now here's Barrientos on the right side driving in. He's going to kick over, and that's an easy layup and a great look provided there for Harrington. Hassan Harrington, once again, scoring. He's been a great piece for them to rely on with his 6 points of the game. Here's Seth Dawson scrolling out, giving it to Brizzi, and they're going to extort a very nice mismatch against the number one scorer, Gilbert, for the Seawolves. That's going to send Brizzi to the line for a couple of shots, and that's exactly what you want to see. Now 5 fouls against the Seawolves in 5 minutes of play. So if this continues, we're going to see 20 fouls in 20 minutes in the second half, as Mitch Brizzi is going to make the first free throw.
Good touch on that first one. Kind of went off on a bunch of different parts of the rim there. He is a 72% free throw shooter as well.
And that's great to see from your big coming in. Now we look for the second shot to fall, and it will. Mitch Brizzi knocking down the shot. And now with about 4 minutes, 57 seconds remaining in what would be the third quarter of action, both of these teams squaring off in a big way. As here's Gilbert with it. He's matched up with Jello Lloyd. He's going to try and move out right here, but he's going to have to kick it. Now on the perimeter, looking for the inside opportunity. He was wide open, and he's unable to get it to go. A foul is going to be called, and it looks like that's going to be quite the justified foul, though the Nicholson Arena crowd not loving it. That's going to be the second foul called against Bradley Swilly in tonight's action, and the third of the half called against your Wildcats. So not getting themselves too far into trouble yet.
Harrington's only a 54% free throw shooter here, and he's shooting on that side of the Wildcat
that he is.
Court.
That's a big thing to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen. And now the free throws get a lot harder if you are the Seawolves. And here's the second shot. Going up, coming down. 2 points to the Seawolves.
Doesn't affect them there, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more free throws shot over there.
And now here's Seth Dawson bringing it up for the Cats. Coming up the right side lane, he'll be matched up with Barrientos. He's going to move out left now, and they're going to double team Seth Dawson. Someone's open. It's Colby Jeanette. He moves it out to Jello Lloyd. Lloyd now has to stop, takes the mid-range, nails the mid-range!
I'm wanting to see a big half from Jello Lloyd. If this crowd starts getting him going, he is not going to stop.
He is one of those guys that feeds off of anything that you give him. Now Williams with it. He's going to lose it, but it's off the foot of Jello Lloyd. And the Wildcats not going to be able to catch a lucky break on that one. It will be possession for the Seawolves.
As Larson checks in for Barrientos.
And it's going to be Kevin Holden coming into the game for your Wildcats in exchange for Bradley Swilly. Now here are the Seawolves moving this one inside. Williams putting up the shot, and it's going to land at about the same spot as Paul George's clutch threes in the playoffs land. Side of the backboard. Wildcats now with a chance to push it to a 2-score lead. Here's Seth Dawson. He's been so good this year at finding Wildcats while they're open. He's going to move this one out right to Jello Lloyd. Jello Lloyd now back to Dawson. Dawson attacking Williams. Driving in, getting the shot up. Unable to get it to go, but it's rebounded now, and it's going to come back in. It's going to be sent out right. That was Jeanette with it. He's going to give it to Jello Lloyd. Lloyd now trying to find separation. Crosses up the number one player. Hits the three! Jello Lloyd! Let the man live!
This is an absolute space creator. No room for that defender to get back.
And now moving it over. Here's Gilbert with the ball for the Seawolves. Wow, what a matchup we've seen tonight. A 5-point lead for the Cats. Williams with the ball now. He's going to move it out right. This one to Gilbert. Gilbert with something to prove here. He drives and misses. Rebound goes to Brizzi. And the Cats are on a roll here. Jello Lloyd with it. Open three. Unable to get it to go. And what a shot that would have been. Now Williams with it on the other side for Alaska Anchorage. He's going to slow it down, and that's got to be the best option for them right now. Being just overran. Here's Williams kicking it to the right side corner. Looking for some sort of look. He drives in against Jeanette. Now to the outside. 3-point try. Gets it. And the Seawolves cut the lead down to 2.
Got to hold on to this 2-point deficit here. I want to see Jello Lloyd with the ball in his hands.
As do I, as Jello Lloyd moves out left, sends it to Kevin Holden. Holden now hesitates for a second, sends it back to Jello. Jello Lloyd now back over to Seth Dawson. Dawson matched up well. He's going to drive, take a step back, wanted the shot. Won't take it, but pulls a post player. Kicks it over now to Jeanette. Here's Colby Jeanette working his way in, getting the shot to fall. Colby Jeanette.
Points 12 on the day for Jeanette.
That's exactly what you want to see. He's fulfilling his role so well here tonight. And with 12 points, he might be the leading scorer for the Wildcats here. As he moves in against Seth Dawson, kicking now back to the perimeter. Mitch Brizzi, a far better perimeter defender than you would expect for his size. Now kicked over to Williams. Williams guarded by Colby Jeanette. On the left side here, he moves it over, and it's Kevin Holden now with the responsibilities. It shifts to Jello Lloyd, and he drives. Kicking it over, and that's an easy shot. But they miss it! Rebound goes to Brizzi. The Seawolves letting the pressure get to them. Here comes Jello! And the point's unable to get there, but Jeanette comes down with the rebound! And the foul's going to be called, it appears. I didn't see him throw up the jump ball.
Nope.
Maybe it's a timeout called. It's a timeout called, and just like that, we'll be back in a matter of moments here on 88.1 The Berg and the Central Washington Athletics live stream.
88.1 The Berg.
.1 The Berg, your music central. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Ryan Gildersleeve and Jackson Roberts here for 88.1 The Berg as we give you all the information you need to know regarding this matchup between Central Washington University and the University of Alaska Anchorage. Folks, the Wildcats came into this game riding the momentum of a win this last Thursday, which saw them score in a whole lot of unprecedented ways to send Alaska Fairbanks packing. Now tonight they have a chance to condemn the last frontier with yet another win. Now it's Seth Dawson. He'll receive the inbound from the Wildcat faithful here, I guess you'll say, as Seth Dawson here receiving the pass. He's going to send this one up and over for Mitch Brizzi. Now Brizzi to the corner with Holden. Holden takes the step back. Looks like he wanted something, won't take it, and the whistle's going to blow. Are they going to call him out of bounds?
I don't think he stepped out of bounds, and the other referee didn't even seem too confident about it. He looked like he shook his head and then asked for the ball, I guess.
And that's just an interesting one. They will not dispute it, though, and it'll be the Seawolves with possession.
Thought I saw a little bit of floor there in between the foot.
Yeah, I thought so as well. And now here come the Seawolves as they move it around. This one kicked it out, and here's Williams. Moves it over left. Three-point is tried, and it is missed. Williams gets the rebound, and he's unable to score in the post. The first three was attempted by Larson, and the second chance opportunity, of course, by Williams. Kevin Holden has it now. He's being double-teamed. He moves it over to Jeanette. Jeanette to Brizzi. That's an easy shot on the second chance opportunity. Mitch Brizzi moves the lead to 6 with his 8th of the game.
He's just much bigger. If he misses the first one, he has a good chance of getting the second.
And so now the Seawolves look for something. Here's Gilbert moving out left, and it's going to be sent to the inside now. Now they look for Gilbert on the outside. Instead, they are going to elect for the post try where they miss. And
can't score over Brizzi.
No, you cannot. That was Lentfer on the opportunity. Now here's Dawson moving out left, kicking it to Brizzi. Brizzi, wide open look for Holden. Holden's not going to take it though, moves forward and kicks it over. Now it's in the hands of Jello Lloyd. He's a dangerous man with that rock in his hands. He puts up the shot, and it will not fall. But the Jeanette rebound will keep it in Central favor. They're going to call a travel on that? Oh, man, the Wildcats struggling with turnovers here as yet another drive results in a turnover. Folks, we'll be back in just a moment here on 88.1 The Berg.
81 the Bird would like.
'88 won the Berg, your music central. Ryan Gildersleeve here alongside Jackson Roberts. And we are your crew that are here to give you the events of the final 10 minutes, 5 seconds of game time between your Central Washington Wildcats and the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. My apologies, almost called them the Sea Dogs. The what team is that? The Portland Sea Dogs?
Portland,
yeah, minor league baseball. And it's going to be Williams, the inbounder for the Sea Wolves, as he's going to toss this one in. No foul is going to be called here as both players hit the deck. And it's Williams trying to cut through the Central defense. He throws up the spin around midi, and he's unable to hit it. It's going to be rebounded by Kevin Holden, who kicks it over to Jello Lloyd. Lloyd now trying to attack in an interesting way. It finds its way out of bounds, and that should be Central Washington ball. That's an awful, awful call on the court. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Central Washington's faithful are not too happy. That's not what you love to see.
Yeah.
57-51, still your score.
It got wedged between Jello and one of the Seawolves, but I thought it definitely went off one of the Seawolves' hands, but apparently not.
And so let's see what happens here. Jordan Clark checked into the game for Kevin Holden, as now this one's moved out left to Barrientos. Barrientos going to drive now against Seth Dawson. He puts up the shot, and he's unable to get it to go. Rebound goes to Colby Jeanette. Jeanette has been so important for the Wildcats here tonight as he gives it to Seth Dawson. Dawson now coming up the court, looking for somebody. He gives it to Jeanette. Jeanette now for three. 15 points for Jeanette! We were just talking about it. How important can he be? Well, here's 3 points more to give you some backing.
Have yourself a night, Colby.
Barrientos moves it out right to Gilbert, the leading scorer of this matchup. He moves out left now with it. Looking for the post try. They're not going to do it. Too scared of Mitch Brizzi on the move. Now here's Barrientos moving out right. Being guarded by Dawson. He kicks it out again. Here's Williams. Williams using the screen. On the drive now. That's an open opportunity. He's going to use it to the best of his ability. 7-point lead for the Cats.
Yep, Jeanette just got lost there. It is all good, though, with the offensive production that he has brought to the game tonight.
Seth Dawson calling out a play here, showing off the playmaking ability as he's going to drive, come in on the switch. Mitch Brizzi with the ball in hands. He hands it off to Jello Lloyd, and then that one was going to be an open look for Brizzi, but he loses it on the reception. And now Gilbert looking to see if he can cook something up on the other end. He sends it to Barrientos. Barrientos now working against Mitch Brizzi. Coming up, takes the step to the side. Now driving in, and he loses it, and it's going to be Central basketball. 8 minutes, 24 seconds remain in this matchup as your Wildcats lead it by 7. Now, after forcing yet another empty possession, they have a chance to put some points on the board.
And Jello Lloyd looks hype going to the bench, or maybe a little bit angry.
It's one of those two. He has not had the game tonight that he may have been expecting. And here's Jordan Clark. Clark bringing it up. He's going to head out left now. And he's going to put up a shot that's going to be blocked. This one's going to go off the hands of Sawyer Storms, but it will find its way out of bounds, keeping possession in the hands of the Wildcats.
Yeah, Sawyer Storms is a big guy, one of their biggest guys on the team.
And now here's Jordan Clark. Clark, the inbounder, sends it to mid-range McNeil, who is unable to connect. And now it's Williams bringing it up. Williams on the right side, trying to find something. He's going to kick it out right, and it's Gilbert. Gilbert now moving out left with it. He's got the top of the key to himself. He moves it over to Storms, and Storms to Barrientos. Barrientos now over to Williams. Williams kicking it over, and they're looking for something. He kicks it out left, and now to Barrientos once again. Top of the key. He's matched up against Samad Hector. That's a mismatch, and it's going to be moved into Storms. They wanted Williams. Instead, they choose Barrientos, and that's the right choice as he hits the three. Cuts the lead to 4.
Yep, 60-56 ball game. It was stuck at 57-51 for a minute. The score is picked back up.
And now here's Samad Hector. Hector's going to move it to Colby Jeanette, who's being guarded by Gilbert, using the mismatch to his favor and getting 2. 17 for Colby Jeanette.
He is looking good off the bench tonight.
Jeanette, one of those few returners from last season which have been so special for the Wildcats. And now this one handed off, and it's Gilbert. Gilbert moving out right with it. He's matched up with Samad Hector, so he kicks out left, and it's going to end up in the hands of Barrientos after a couple. Now Storms with it. Hands this one off to Satchel. Here's the three. Unable to hit. Out of bounds it goes. Central Washington possession.
And that might have been part of the Wildcat fans. They were chanting like the shot clock was almost down. 3, 2, 1. They had 10 seconds left, and he pulled the shot anyways.
And so now, ladies and gentlemen, a timeout called on the court. We'll take one, too. Be back in a matter of moments here on 88.1 The Berg and the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
The fans.
.88.1 The Berg, your music central. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back as we get ready for the final 7 minutes of action between your Wildcats and the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Gildersleeve alongside Jackson Roberts here as we get ready for the events of this final 7. Folks, it has been quite the matchup so far. Colby Jeanette leads the game in scoring with 17 points. And now he's got the ball in his hands for the Wildcats as he moves it out right to Swilly. Swilly now inside to Hector. Hector working against Storms, bringing himself inside. 14 for Hector.
Right over their leading shot blocker as well.
And so just like that, the Wildcats push their scoring total up a little bit more. Now 8 points separate these two teams as Barrientos kicks to Williams. On the left side, moves it back to Storms. Moving it around the perimeter, he hands it off to Gilbert. Gilbert now wants Storms again. Storms for 3, that's an open look, but he's off the back iron and rebounded by Samad. Hector now into Jordan Clark, and we'll see what the Wildcats can do with an opportunity to give themselves the first 10-plus point separation of the game. As here's Jordan Clark moving out right with it. Swilly on the move. He's going to send it into Colby Jeanette. Jeanette now to Hector. That's a wide open look, and he misses. Hector just got a little too excited. Ball comes out of his hands as he goes up for it. And now here's Gilbert kicking to Barrientos. Barrientos to Storms, and Storms to Williams. Williams now to Satchel. Satchel back to Storms. Storms to Barrientos. Coming around. Wanted the 3, doesn't take it. Kicks to Gilbert. Gilbert on the drive. Easy opportunity, he gets it.
A lot of missed opportunities from the Wildcats on the offensive side so far. Have to take advantage of these.
And Jordan Clark is going to give this one over to Samad Hector. Hector now back to Clark. And he's going to return the favor once more. Here's Cameron McNeil now receiving the pass from Hector. On the left side corner, we'll see what he does. He kicks over to Colby Jeanette. Jeanette now back to McNeil. McNeil takes the step back, takes the 3, unable to hit. Rebound goes to Storms.
Wildcats came out in that possession looking really flat there. Not a lot of movement, just passing between Jeanette and McNeil.
And now here's Barrientos with the ball in hand, working against Swilly. And after some fancy ball movement, it's going to be plucked away by the Wildcats.
We have numbers here.
Here's McNeil on the outside, kicking to Jeanette. Jeanette, inside opportunity, back out Clark. Clark, three, up and it's down. Rebound goes to Hector, up for it, down with it. Samad Hector!
And he looked right at him and flexed too.
That's what he does. Samad Hector is that man on the basketball court. Ladies and gentlemen, they take a timeout. We'll take one too. Be back in about 30 seconds here on 88.1 The Berg. .88.1 The Berg, your music central. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here as the Seawolves look to mount a comeback against your Central Washington Wildcats. They trail it by 8 points as Barrientos with the ball now for the Seawolves. He's going to kick this one over to Storms. Storms now hands this one off to Satchel. Satchel working against Samad Hector on the perimeter. He kicks this one out left. Now once again it goes. And it's Barrientos with it. Takes the three. Colby Jeanette in his face. And that one will find the ground before it finds the rim.
We're getting a bunch of air ball chants here.
Folks, what an energy here in the Nicholson Arena. If you're not here, then you're missing something special. Here's Samad Hector, hands it off to Jeanette. Jeanette takes the step back and kicks it to Swilly. Swilly now into Samad. He's got the mismatch and he makes it work.
That's too easy for Samad.
Samad now moves into the #1 scoring spot for the Cats, 18 points. And now it's 10 points separating these two squads. Samad Hector gives the Wildcats the first double-digit lead of the game.
They're going to call a foul on, looks like Swilly right there, trying to get around the screen. Just used a bit too much hands there.
And just like that, they take a timeout on the court. We'll take one too and be back in just a moment. Not only on 88.1 The Berg, but also on the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
88.1 The Berg would like to thank our crowd sponsors.
I.com.
88.1 The Berg, your music central. Ryan Gildersleeve and Jackson Roberts here to give you what should be the final 346 of Central Washington basketball versus the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. Folks, your Wildcats have had quite the event here tonight. 68-58 your score. They lead it by 10 points. Looking incredible throughout tonight's matchup.
Yeah, it's been the second half Wildcats is what I said earlier. We've only allowed 20 points so far in this half.
And now it's Anchorage. They're going to kick it into Barrientos, who of course has been the primary ball handler all game long. He's going to move out right and kick this one over to Satchel, who puts up the contested inside shot and can't come away with the make. Jello Lloyd has the ball for the Cats as he uses some shifty ball handling to keep it in his possession. And now Jordan Clark with the ball in his hands. He will have the responsibilities of starting off this drive as he kicks it out left to Samad Hector. Hector now looking for somebody. He just hands it off to Jeanette. Jeanette, 17 points on the game so far. Here's Swilly into Hector. Hector now back out Swilly. Swilly for three. Unable to get it to go, but Samad Hector on the second chance opportunity. He throws up the flex again, and just like that, your Wildcats lead it by 12.
Are they going to call a tech on Samad?
Wow. And Washam with Downey called the ref soft. What a dang call.
That keeps them back in this game. It's still 10 points. It'll be one free throw and then possession, I believe.
And that's just quite the call. I don't know what to say about that. You're going to get him in trouble for throwing up a flex, then you've got other things to worry about. The refs have not seen many other things in this game that have been far worse than that. So the technical free throw is going to go for him. I don't necessarily see how this comes into contact with the rest of this game and how it makes much sense, but he's going to miss the second one. So just like that, with nobody contesting him but the band, he's going to miss.
It does stay in possession. No, it doesn't. Looks like it's going to. Yes, it is. It does stay in possession of Alaska Anchorage. That's what I thought. And so that will give him a chance to bring it to a 9 or 8 point deficit.
And now it'll be Williams, the inbounder for the Seawolves. Kicks this one into the hands of Gilbert, who's going to return it back. And now here's Williams with the ball in hand. He brings it up for the Wolves. Now going up and over everybody. Colby Jeanette doing his best job. Wow! They're going to call him for a push? That's a push?
That was just a toss-up, and both of them jumped up straight for it. There was no body contact.
That's called landing on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, what an interesting night of officiating we have seen here from Central Washington University, though they do have quite a better angle on it than we do, so we digress. Here's the three-pointer by Gilbert, and that is incredible. You can't take anything away from him on that one. That long-range three-pointer was just what they needed.
Fading away as well.
Cuts the lead down to 8, and he's showing some incredible talent here tonight. Gilbert with yet another long-range shot. And here's Clark having the ball poked out of his hands by Barrientos. Excuse me. And as this one makes its way out of bounds, Central Washington retains possession with 2:39 remaining in this ballgame. It's going to be tossed into Clark, and he'll bring it up from the backcourt. Clark now moving it out right to Hector. Hector back to Clark. Clark now into Jeanette. Jeanette on the outside. He's going to move it over to Swilly. Swilly wants the shot. He takes it. He misses. Off the back iron. Samad Hector had it at first, but lost it out of bounds. And the Seawolves take over with a shot to cut it down to as little as 5.
Yep, Samad was upset with himself right there. He definitely had an opportunity to get that second chance bucket to go, but just lost possession of it.
And so now Williams with it. He kicks this one into Gilbert. Gilbert now bringing it up the left side. He'll have Jello Lloyd to worry about as he moves out right. Jello Lloyd staying with him though. And the the help defense of the Wildcats looks great, but they need to be able to keep it in check. Now here's Williams moving it out right to Barrientos. Barrientos now taking the step back and moving it out. Here's the three-pointer. It's not going to fall off the back iron, and the rebound goes to Jordan Clark. A lot of effort we're seeing here. And this one's going to go out of bounds. No, don't make that call that way. It's going to be Wildcat basketball. At least it should be. Come on. Let's be honest with ourselves.
It looks like
here.
They might review it.
And that would be the best chance here. Yes, they're going to review it. Folks, we're going to give them an opportunity to do so. We'll be back in just a moment here on 88.1 The Berg, your music central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
88.
88-1 The Berg, your Music Central. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Ryan Gildersleeve, your play-by-play broadcaster, alongside Jackson Roberts, as we get ready for what should be an action-packed final 2 minutes of this matchup. 70-62 your score. The Seawolves have cut the lead back down to 8, and they are rolling here, so we'll see how they're able to put something up against the Cats. Here's Barrientos moving this one over, but it's sent out of bounds by Clark. Clark wants the call, and it appears that he's going to get it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to go in the Wildcats' direction, but the other referee is saying it shouldn't, but it looks like, once again, they might discuss.
Come on. Are we going to send this to replay again? And ladies and gentlemen, we send it to replay as they try to make up their minds. Once again, we're going to send it to a break, and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
88.
.88-1 The Berg, your Music Central. Ladies and gentlemen, we rejoin the action here as Central Washington endures quite the interesting series of events. 2 back-to-back plays where we've seen reviews, and now it's going to be a Seawolves foul, which gives the Wildcats yet another inbound try. Both teams tied at 6 fouls here, so the next foul by either squad will send their opposition to the free throw line. And it's going to be Jordan Clark, the recipient of the inbound, and it's going to send back to Jeanette. Jeanette to Swilly. Swilly to Clark. Clark to Lloyd. And I thought something special was brewing there, but instead Jordan Clark's going to receive it. And it appears that the Wildcats will focus on burning some time down, securing this victory, as right now they do lead handedly, an 8-point lead, about 3 drive separation at the best for the Seawolves, and it's a missed layup by Jordan Clark, giving them a chance here. 3-pointer is taken and missed, and by Gilbert. Why are we calling fouls after the game's already hit the ground? I don't know, but one way or another, I'm not mad about it because it's against the Seawolves.
Yeah, I think it was Gilbert who stuck out his leg on the 3-point shot, and I think that's what they might be calling.
And that wouldn't surprise me. He appears to be definitely favoring the left leg quite a bit, as it appears that Jello must have landed on the right leg. That should have been free throws for the Wildcats, but the officiating here is not necessarily at the tier at which you may expect, folks.
And then now
they're going to call the whistle, and it's going to be a timeout called by the Wildcats. So that's an interesting one, as we should have been at the free throw line, but one way or another, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick it off to a break and be back in about 30 seconds to a minute here on 88.1 The Berg, your Music Central, and the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
88-1.
.88-1 The Berg, your Music Central, as well as the Central Washington University Athletics live stream. Folks, after an interesting series of events, which saw the Wildcats not get sent to the free throw line, they're going to confirm that decision here, even further confusing me at least, as now under a minute remains in this basketball game, and Jordan Clark will bring it up for the Cats. Now he's going to do his best to keep away the double team of the Seawolves, and here's Jeanette passing it back to him. They'll finally call the foul that they were intentionally trying to pull, and just like that, it should continue to push the Wildcats to the line. So now we're actually going to get free throws off of, the 8 fouls that have been committed against us up until this point. Because who cares about 7 fouls? Only 8 fouls count. As here's Jordan Clark knocking down the first free throw. And he's going to have an opportunity for one more nail in the coffin.
This could make it a 10-point game.
And that would just about do it for what the Wildcats need here. Jordan Clark, opportunity to push it out to a double-digit lead once again. He kicks, he deals. He gets it, or he doesn't.
Unlucky bounce.
Wow, very unlucky bounce, and that's going to go to Barrientos of the Seawolves. He's going to hand it off to Gilbert. Gilbert, of course, fouled on that last drive. Now he's going to head in against Samad Hector, and they're going to call a foul on quite the interesting shot there, though I will say there was a lot of contact there. Samad Hector brings in his 3rd foul of the game, though it's not going to really matter too much as the Wildcats are, doing their thing.
Your leading scorers for the Wildcats being Samad Hector and Colby Jeanette. 20 for Hector and 17 for Jeanette.
And Gilbert's going to make the first of his free throws. He'll have one more coming after this. And there's a substitution on the floor for the Seawolves.
Harrington will check back in
the place of Storms. And we'll see how the Seawolves adjust to the second free throw here as fans start to leave the arena. They see what's happening here as Gilbert is able to make the second one, cutting the lead back down to 7. And it'll be Colby Jeanette, the inbounder here for the Wildcats. And he's going to take a timeout. We're going to take one too, and we'll be back in about 32 a minute here on 88.1 The Berg and the Central Washington University Athletics live stream.
88.1 The
StonePie.com.
88.1 The Berg, your music central. Ladies and gentlemen, we rejoin the action for the last 35-7 of the action. And the inbounder is going to be Colby Jeanette here as the Wildcats run quite the play just to get the inbound into Jordan Clark. Clark's going to give it back to Jeanette. And now the Wildcats bringing it across half court as shifty as they can. They cut about 5 seconds off the clock there, and they were 0.8 seconds away from getting themselves to the point where there would be no more shot clock. And so with the foul, of course, going against Harrington.
It's going to be Jello at the line as well.
That it will, which is what you like to see. Jello's got a chance to push his scoring total up to 10 points. And that's what you'd like to see, keeping his scoring numbers from dropping too much.
He is the leading free throw shooter on the team as well at 95%.
Right. And so now the first one will fall. So that's what you like to see. We'll see if the second one can. One way or another, I don't think it's going to change too much as the Wildcats do have an 8-point lead, and now they have a 9-point lead via number 5, Angelo Lloyd.
Angelo Lloyd reaching double digits in points.
And now they move it forward. Here's Williams with it. He's going to drive for the layup, and he's going to get it, but it's not going to mean much. 24-8 remaining in this matchup. Samad Hector, the inbounder, sends it up to Jordan Clark. Clark to Jeanette. Jeanette gets fouled. They called it before he was actually fouled, but that's fine.
They were expecting the foul. The referee's even chuckling about it a little bit, too.
They're doing that 2K officiating at this point. They know what's coming, so they're just predicting it, which is just fine, I guess, seeing as your Central Washington Wildcats are easily in control of this matchup, with these two free throws pushing the scoring total, or excuse me, the separation between these teams up to 9 points if Colby Jeanette can nail this second one.
88% shooter.
And he's going to get it.
Two for
just
two.
like that. Cats lead it by 9, 75-66 your score. Here's Williams looking for another easy two, and he's going to not get it. Central Washington rebound. Samad Hector more specifically. And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, your Wildcats bring home the win. They sweep through this week. They sweep through the last frontier. And your Central Washington Wildcats have won it 75-66. Your final score. The Wildcats lose their minds as they win it by 9. And just like that, your Wildcats put themselves in a great position heading forward, not only in the conference, but just heading into next week. Folks, there is so much that could be said about this matchup, and there's just one thing I want to focus on. We're 8-5 in the conference now. 8-5, that's what you like to hear. Through 13 games, the Wildcats 3 games above 500. They are looking great heading into the final cruise of this season. Folks, it's going to be a little bit until you hear from us again here on 88.1 The Berg. Of course, we do have a little bit of a road trip coming up, but when the Wildcats do return to the Nicholson Arena, you best bet that we will be there, and we will be giving you everything you need to know regarding those games. Folks, tonight's player of the game, if you ask me, Colby Jeanette. Colby Jeanette adding everywhere on the court that he possibly could. He was hitting threes, he was blocking shots, bringing in rebounds and doing everything he needed to do. 19 points, he finishes the game, and he brings home the Player of the Game award via Ryan Gildersleeve. Jackson, what do you got?
He had an Angelo Lloyd type of night, coming off the bench, putting up that amount of points. It's just at a high efficiency as well. He was just doing everything he could offensively, defensively, and just even facilitating the offense a little bit tonight. I liked what I saw from Colby Jeanette.
And that's just what you want to see, ladies and gentlemen. The Wildcats come out and they win out a stunner. Just like that, they sweep their way through the week. 2 more wins to the Wildcat total. And folks, we'll see you next time. Ryan Gildersleeve and Jackson Roberts signing out for CWU's Athletics live stream, as well as 88.1 The Berg.